Good morning, guys. I hope you guys are all doing good. Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's just gone 3 minutes after 7 in the morning here in Calgary. And let's have a chat. Just got a little bit of time and then I've got to get to work. But I'm so mad this morning. As some of you have probably figured out, I am not a happy bunny. When I tie my hair like this, when I wake up in the morning with this look on my face, it's not having a happy ending. I am not happy this morning at all. Okay? So please join this video and let's have a conversation, guys. Yeah. I'm so mad. My eyes are even teary and I've not even stepped outside. Jeez. Yeah. Pissed off big time. Big time, guys. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm chilled. It's funny when I'm angry, I'm actually cool about it. Um, if I start screaming, it's not gonna have a happy ending. So let's have this conversation. Please share this video. Please. Yes, I would love you. Let the love hearts flow. I'm watching. If I don't see no love hearts, I'm not talking. Um, you guys have been around here for a while, so you guys know how I roll. Or if you don't, you should by now. I don't like thumbs up. It's just kind of like a bit, I love hearts. I love to see an array of red just popping up my screen. It gets me going, and I absolutely love that. Keep it coming. Keep the love hearts coming. I'm watching and I'm not seeing any. And I'm like, wow, what have I done? I don't like thumbs up. I love hearts though. The red. I love that. Yeah, that gets me going. Um, so guys, yeah, keep them coming. Oh, I see my brother Kweku here. My brother, how are you doing? I salute. I hope you're fine. Let's see who else is here. I think I can see a couple love hearts popping up now, but you guys can do better. It doesn't cost you anything to just press on the love heart and keep it coming. It excites me and I love that. And yeah, also thank you for being here, right? Guys, um, so much happens in relationships and people get into relationships, in my opinion, with all the best of intentions, I hope, right? Because you don't know what goes on in the other person's mind, what the other person's mindset is and reasoning is for wanting to be in that relationship with you, committed or otherwise, right? But there's just certain things in this life that I think, in my personal opinion, and this is me just, giving you guys my opinion on this whole issue, is that there's certain things that, regardless of whether you're in love with somebody or not, there's just certain things that you keep to yourself, right? And to me, money is one of those things. If you truly really love somebody, should your relationship, even the foundations or genesis of your relationship, should it have anything to do with money? Should it? Right? I have said this several times, and I don't know how many more times I'm going to be saying the same thing, guys. But seriously speaking, to me, you are not ready to be in a relationship with somebody if you're not an individual, independent participant in that relationship. You must stand on your own 2 feet in every sense of the word. Have your own money, have your own bank account, have your own life. To me, before you're ready to be in a relationship with anybody, and that is my opinion, and has been my opinion since I thought that I was old enough to get into any intimate relationship with anyone, right? Because if that doesn't happen, things can always end up going south. They do. You are human. People change. People make promises that they can't keep or they don't keep for whatever reason, right? And at the end of the day, when things go south, people always end up being hurt and feel used. And as you can see, this is what is happening with Korra. I woke up this morning and I watched this video that she put up recently in the last couple hours, and I was just so pissed off, right? I don't know whether I've ever told you guys the story, but as a young lady growing up in university, I listened to and I saw somebody make this very mistake, right? Not having your own money. Oh, he's my man. Oh, I love him or her. And, he's my ride or die for better or for worse. Look, I have the privilege of being in a job that has allowed me to see a lot of the best and the worst of people, right? I've seen people who have been married for 35, 40 years, bought properties together, owned assets, worked hard. All of a sudden, one person decides that they don't want the marriage or relationship anymore. One person ends up cheating. Somebody has had another family, and now you're splitting up. And then when that happens, it brings out the best and the worst of people. And in this case, the worst of people. This is a woman that has young children, right? Young children. She deposits $5,000 into a joint account, and the money is all gone. Growing up as a young adult in university back in Ghana, I'll tell you guys the story. A friend of mine, or shall I say, a friend of a friend, met this guy in university. She was in the first year, he was in the final year. The guy was done, and then he went into the workforce. This girl finished her 4 years, and because she was so intelligent, she won a scholarship to do a master's. She was in Legon. And throughout this whole 6 years of education, she dated this guy. The guy was a bit older than her too. And he was out there working and dating this girl. They went out for 6 blooming years. And this girl was an only child to her mom. Her mom was a single mom. She was a nurse, but she was a single mom who went through hell to raise this girl by herself. The father had gone. So this woman sweat, blood, tears to get her kid to university. She finished her master's, and now they're getting married. Everybody knew that the two of them were an item for 6 years. This guy was out there working, and she was in school. That will be my last thing to death. Never. Exactly. 6 years they were together. This girl would bring like every tiny little money she got, whether it was from her mom or some holiday job that she did, some side hustle, whatever. She's saving this money. Even when she went out with her friends and they, you know what girls are like, want to buy something with some lingerie or, piece of makeup or whatever. Oh, no. She doesn't want to spend a kobo of her money. No, I don't want to spend my money. Whatever, and I are getting married. So we're saving for the marriage. Somehow, this guy managed to convince this woman that opening a joint account is a sensible thing to do. After all, we're together. We're going to be together for all times. Your money is my money, and my money is your money too. So what does it matter? So they went to Barclays Bank and opened a joint account, saving for their marriage. My friend's friend denied herself everything because she's getting married and she's saving for her marriage. Over the weekends, this guy will come and pick this girl up and take her to his house. She's there the whole weekend, clean the place, like performing wifely duties as a girlfriend to this guy and leave. She goes again one weekend and they live in this flat, so they're neighbors. The guy brings her to the house the Friday night. They've stayed up half the night watching videos and movies, and they finally went to bed. Then he wakes up in the crack of dawn to say that because he was working in a bank, that he has to go open up the bank and get some money for some people, and, gave her this story and left. Right? And then when she was gone, my friend fell asleep again. And she said she started having the most weird dreams ever. And she woke up. She went outside to the backyard, and the next door neighbor is an elderly woman with her family. And she's like, "Oh, we haven't seen you here for some time. I didn't even know you were still coming here. How are you doing? Have you come here for your brother's wedding?" And she's like, "Brother? He's not my brother. He's my boyfriend. We've been together for 6 years." The woman didn't sound convinced. She couldn't believe what she was hearing because the pictures that she saw on the wedding invitation, the bride doesn't look anything like this girl. She said, "Oh, well, this guy came, brought a wedding invitation and says he's getting married today. So we're all just getting ready to go for the wedding." And my friend is like, "I think you've made a mistake." She's like, "You think an elderly woman like me would lie about something like this? Get dressed and let's go. We'll sit in the same cab and I'll prove to you he brought a wedding invitation." So she got ready. She thought it was a joke because it couldn't be happening. This guy had just slept with her overnight. He couldn't be marrying somebody else. They got to the church, and this same guy who said that he was going to open a branch to get some money from his clients was stood in front of the church in a suit, marrying another woman, for better, for worse. So when this friend of a friend saw, she was hysterical. They just bundled her up in the back of the church, put her in a car, and somebody knew where she lived, so they took her to her mom. Saturday, Sunday, she wouldn't talk to anyone. She locked herself in a room and was just crying. In the end, her mom got people to break the door down and they brought her out. And now she was ready to tell her story. And now she's telling her mom that she's got a lot of money in a joint account with this guy. And the mom's like, "It's okay. It's only money. Just wait. Monday morning, I'll take you to the bank and you can take whatever belongs to you of that money and then you can be done with it." Monday morning comes and rush, 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 rush. They get to Barclays Bank. She gives her particulars and everything. And the teller goes, "Well, this account was closed last week. Like there's nothing in the account. It was closed." "No, but it's our joint. No, but there's no look. It's closed. And there's nothing left in it." This 26-year-old girl with her whole life ahead of her had a massive heart attack right there in that bank. And she died. Right? That story, it's not a story, like that event, that thing changed my life forever. And if I was stupid at that point, that thing taught me never ever to be in any joint account. I don't care who you are, with anyone in this life. Money is always one of the things that just demonizes people. It brings, like people who have healthy attitudes and relationships with money, on the one side. And then there's the other set of people who just cannot understand that it is just money and it brings out the worst in people. So I don't know who you are listening to me this morning. And as I've said, this video is not meant to be a long one. I'm just so mad this morning. I don't know the purpose for which, people sit on social media. But for me, I learn a lesson from every little thing that I see. I'm telling you. And I hope that you're watching this young, beautiful woman who is going through this kind of a thing at this time in her life and learning the valuable lessons out of this. Look, you can have the best dick in bed. You can have the best man in the world. You don't share kidney, heart, liver, lungs with this person that you purport to love so much. So I don't understand for the life of me why anybody thinks that having a joint account with somebody that I purport to love is what is going to make some kind of a difference in your marriage. You've worked hard for your money. Like I have worked hard for my money. It's mine. I've worked hard for it. What is wrong with having an account of your own, a personal account of my own in my name, right? That has my money that I have worked hard for in. And you have yours. When we have to buy a house together, if it's going to be a down payment of $50,000, we decide, okay, if we're going halves on that, here's my 25. You bring your 25 and let's go buy that house. There is no rule in this life that says that you ought to have a joint account with somebody in order to have a successful marriage. And I've seen different people do different models. I've seen couples have a joint account, and into that joint account, they only put monies that are meant to pay their bills. I've seen people do that. And even that I have my own reservations about. Because what if the guy takes this, whatever, assuming it's $5,000 or £5,000, right? And you're up to use £3,000 to pay the mortgage, another £1,000 to pay utilities and whatever, and the other £1,000 for food for the month. What if he spends all that money? What happens? Like you do you, and you think about it and do what you think works best for you. But I'm telling you that this thing, it is not like, watermelon or papaya or whatever that you can just cut open and see what is inside the heart of man. There is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. Those of you who read, there is no art to find the mind's construction in the face. You could be looking at somebody who's happily smiling at you and you're having a lovely time and everything seems good. Do you know what's actually going on inside of there? Do you understand? Right? I am so mad this morning. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. This had to come out before I could sit and work. This cannot be happening. It can't. Not in 2022. No. Right? This is daylight robbery. That's what that is. But money, divorce, marriage, relationships, it brings out the best and the worst of people. I've seen people let women go, let men go, and they wipe them clean and leave them with nothing and children to look after too. I have seen it. Wives trusting their husbands so much, they give everything, access to everything, down to their assets, taxes, everything to a man. Oh, he does everything. He handles everything. He does all the family money stuff. Oh, yeah. And it's all well and good until you're not together anymore, right? You ought to know what is going on in your life, in every aspect of your life, especially money, because it is so painful. It is so painful that I've woken up on a Saturday morning when I should be sleeping, when I should be in bed asleep. I'm working. In the next hour, I've got to be at work. It will be so painful that after making all those sacrifices, the some man that warms my bed at night thinks that because of that privilege that he has, that it gives him the right to have access to everything of mine, including money that I have worked hard for, right? Mami Tiwa says, you need to ask the bankers the money that is sitting in some couple's account, that one is not ready to sign for the other to get his or her share. It is a no-go area. It only works for few. That level of trust is just too risky. That is my opinion. That level of trust is just too risky, right? I have been raised by parents who've been married for 45 blooming years, okay? And my parents are happily married too. 45 years they've been together. Yes? And I don't think for the life of me that either one of them ever contemplates, oh, we have to have a joint account for our marriage to be successful. And they've raised four children out of that. 45 years this year they've been married. 45 of them. Right? So I don't, for the life of me, understand why people think that you ought to have a joint account with somebody in order to have a good marriage. I don't understand that one. Years ago, I advised a friend that before she gets married, to have a conversation with her husband regarding this issue. I told her that each should have their own personal account and a joint account into which money goes into for household expenses, rent, bills, food, children, school fees, and etc. Thank God she listened and implemented this, because the marriage is now severed due to the husband cheating, and the separation is not amicable. He is vicious with the things that he does. Of course he is. Of course. Time after time. It's not just the men. Women do it too. Yeah. Some people think that because they've had the privilege of going into your inner caucus, in between your legs, that justifies everything else about you. They warm your bed, they sleep with you at night or the day, whatever it is. And so they must have access to everything. Some partners think that because you do that, they should even have your heart, your kidney, your soul. I'm telling you, like the way people behave is unfreaking believable. Right? And so if you're going to be in this, yeah, I think so. Like she thinks that it's going to be a walk in the park. I think she really, really was into this guy and thought the best of him and didn't think that, like things would deteriorate to this level because of divorce. But it always does. It always does. I've seen few people that have been able to go through a divorce and there's been no wahala, no drama, no chaos, nothing. And they've just understood, okay, this is yours. Okay, this is mine. And we're done. Few. More often than not, people in relationships underestimate the importance of money and financial discussions in relationships. It's a shame that money is in the list of things to talk about in but it is part of life, honey. Christabel, it is part of life. Let's just be pure and plain here, right? Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you so much. I don't know what I'm going to do without you. But in loving me, if we, as soon as we step out of the house in this so-called love, a lot of activities that we're going to be engaged in involves money. So money has to be part of the conversation. And I know that it's a very uncomfortable, touchy place thing that people don't like to go there. Oh, it's so uncomfortable. But you have to talk about it. You do. The bed that you're going to be sleeping on and doing the do, it costs money. I have never seen anyone go dance in a furniture shop and walks out with a bed. It costs money. The tea, the coffee, the bread, the sandwiches, the everything. It costs money. So conversations around money ought to be had so that nobody is in that relationship feeling that they're used. Some people go halves on everything. That is some people's formula. If we go out drinking and it costs $50, you bring $20, you bring $25, you bring $25, we put it together, we pay for it. We've both had a fantastic time. Let's go home. That's the formula that works for some. In some cases, the men might say, oh, okay, let's go 60-40 or let's go 70-30. But whatever you guys agree, there is joint, everybody brings out something so the other person doesn't feel that they've been used. Right? I've seen and heard stories, horror stories about divorces, especially here in the West, and it's mind-blowing. People are splitting up and they've looked at it, and one person offers the other person this because 9 times out of 10, unless the woman is unwell or unfit to be a parent, the kids 9 times out of 10 end up with the moms. So the dads, they'll sit down and look at things and, okay, I'm leaving. I'm offering you this. Sometimes the other spouse thinks that they can get more. Maybe you've got some more money stashed away. So no, I'm not accepting this offer. Let's go to court. And I've seen in divorces, the monies that lawyers have made out of the two of them, like the bride and the groom, the husband and the wife. And those monies, a down payment on a house or houses. People spend as much as $200,000 on a divorce settlement, like absolutely outrageous. Because lawyers charge you for talking to you. Every letter they write costs money. Every court appearance costs money. By the time it's all said and done, you are probably going to be in the red. But sometimes, especially if it comes about as a result of the man cheating on the woman. So the woman is out on a mission because she's mad mixed with divorce and cannot dissociate the emotions of anger and deceit from the divorce. So they take you to the cleaners. Except they don't get to enjoy the lion's share of the money. It goes to lawyers that were not even involved in the marriage in the first place. There is nothing wrong with a joint account as long as there's transparency and discipline. How can you ensure that, Sister Doris? You must be married to a saint. Everything is always hunky-dory until it's not. And so for me, right, I can't sit here and prescribe what you should do. But all I'm saying is that even if you're contemplating the idea of having a joint account with somebody, have your own personal money. Because if you listen to this woman's story, from what she's saying, 3 years, she didn't have a personal account and she's transferring money even at this 11th hour into a joint account. Like, come on, guys. Come on, guys. How do you make mistakes like that? How? I can't perceive myself living anywhere at my age and not have an account that is mine. Like, I own it. I work hard for it. It's mine, right? So if you have a joint account with somebody, how does it even work? I have aging parents. I work hard for my money. I get to decide who I give my money that I've worked hard for to. So my parents are my heartbeat. Those people gave their blood for me. So if I'm tying my life and my money and my finances to a man, and now at the end of the month, I need to do something monumental for my parents, who, by the way, have made me who I am. How does that work? Am I now going to ask this other person that I have this account with permission to see whether I can convince him to take money of? I don't understand that. How does it work? Let's be unbelief. Not be mumu be that transferring money into a joint account after divorce and shout mistake, mistake, thief, thief. I mean, like, who does that? Who does that? What level of trust will make any human being reduce themselves to that? Right? Why? Why? Why should anybody do that to themselves? Why? Money changes the character of a human being. I don't think they change. It's always been there. It's just that people choose to gloss over those things and, oh, we love each other. We're in love. It can't be like that. The joint accounts that I'm familiar with, there is a stipulation attached where neither party can make any transaction without the signature of both parties. Unfortunate things occur when one party convinces the other to skip putting that stipulation on the account, and they foolishly listen. Exactly. Like I've said to you guys, I was raised in a home by parents who are in their 70s and they're still married, and they don't have no joint account. They never have, they never will. And look at me. Do I look sick? Do I look abnormal to you? You should see them. Like, they're married. So I don't know why people feel that need that they ought to have something in order for it to work. Right? Why can't we jointly pay for the mortgage? Why? Why must we have a joint account into which specific? So if you have a joint account with somebody that pays the bills in the house, what happens when at the end of the month that person doesn't put their half into the account? Those of you who have that model, can you explain to me how does it work? And I'm not here to say a particular way is better than the other, but I'm just saying that in everything that you're doing, you ought to just make sure that you are safeguarding yourself, because things change. People change. People change, right? And everything that happens to somebody in this life must be a lesson point for you. Because when somebody has gone through something and has given you that privilege of letting you know you're privy to what happened, and you repeat that mistake, you're a fool. Right? I just can't understand this whole thing. Talking about money before marriage is very vital. It's a vital part before getting into that marriage contract with anyone. Plain and simple. If you're not financially independent, if you can't stand on your own 2 feet, guys, women, you are not ready to be in no romantic, whatever relationship, marriage, whatever you want to call it. You're not ready. But see, we as Africans, it's like we've been brought up, or I don't even know whether it's an upbringing or a sense of, some people think that it's a man's responsibility to look after me as the woman. But you're an adult and you're supposed to be a responsible one at that. You shouldn't be rushing to want to get married when you can't stand on your own 2 feet. Buy things for yourself, own your own things, and expect that it's a man's job. A man who has been raised by parents, who have also, by the way, slaved away to make their son who he is. And you're thinking that somebody's son's job is to look after you, feed you, clothe you, everything. If you're not ready to stand on your own 2 feet, you have no business in no committed long-term relationship. That is just the plain and gospel truth. And as a woman that's been raised by a very independent mom, financially and otherwise, and a father who has stood on his own 2 feet since he was a teenager, I am telling you, the best outcome is when both parties can stand on their own 2 feet and look after themselves independently as individuals. That is only when this is possible. Because then it's nobody else's responsibility to take care of you. I can't perceive myself at my age expecting that some guy that I'm with has to pay my rent and feed me and clothe me because he says he loves me and I open up my legs for him. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. I want to have a voice. I want to do me, right? I want to be an individual, independent person that stands on my own 2 feet. That makes decisions concerning my own life. Like, I had a life before he met me. He had his life before I met him. And that's how it works in the relationship or marriage or whatever, right? Anything short of that is like one person taking advantage of the other and one person being a mom or dad to the other. Today's day and age, it's not even just the women who feel that it's a man's job to look. Now men are also doing that too. They'll move in with you and it is your responsibility to do every damn little thing for them at your cost. Right? Far too many people skip this all-important part. And research has shown that money issues are the main causes of a lot of broken marriages. True. If you're a man and you're not ready to own or rent your own little coop that you're taking your wife or woman to be to, you're not ready for marriage. Any man who moves into his wife's parents' house, very questionable. Very questionable. Right? You're not ready for the commitment of marriage. You can't even stand on your own 2 feet. Now you to go talk of bringing somebody else into your life and that mess. And if you're a woman and you can't afford to live on your own, you are not ready to be in no relationship. You see, I find that a lot of people think that marriage is sex, like it's all about sex, like some license that you get. It's as if you've got a learner's license and you've now mastered how to drive a car. So you've gone for the full license and now you think that that is equated to marriage. You're stupid. There is a whole world outside of sex in that marriage that you still haven't figured out. If you want to go have sex and stop thinking that, you can equate having sex and the liberty of doing that because it is morally wrong. for you to not be married and be doing that. So let's just get this license, because there's a heck of a lot more to marriage than just that. Believe you me, you will not spend 24 hours, 7 days a week having sex. I can promise you that. And if the foundations of your marriage and relationship are wrong from the get-go, there will be no pleasure in that sex that you're having. Right? According to what she said, he didn't want her to have it. Which man gets to decide how you should live your life? If that man is not providing you oxygen with which you breathe, if that man is not responsible for feeding you, making you walk, raise up your hand, put it down, why should anybody in this life allow somebody to dictate to you how and what you should do and how you should live your life? Why? Didn't she just get her legalities to the U? Like, I don't understand. I don't understand. I stand for joint account for couples. It's working so well in the white community. It's a no-go area for we Black people because we're generally not sincere people. That is your opinion. And you're entitled to it. I am privy to couples that are white, green, yellow, mixed, brown. I have seen it all, darling. I promise you, that statement you've made is not accurate. Wait till you see white Caucasians in marriage for 40 years split up. And then tell me about Black people not being sincere. There are white people who are equally not sincere at all. In fact, very vindictive too. But yes, we're all entitled to our opinions. But when you've seen the worst of people, right? And when you know that you can't open up somebody's brain to see what is actually going on in the person's mind, you better protect yourself. Because it's all rosy until it's not. Do you can open joint accounts as much as you want, but all I'm saying is that put safeguards in place if that is the route that you have chosen to go down. I am never opening no joint account for anybody, with anybody, no matter whether we're married or not. Let's pay bills. I'm yet for somebody to convince me how that works, and I want you guys to explain to me. And if it makes sense to me, I might be persuaded. But me working hard and putting every dime that I earn into a joint account with somebody else's child ain't never going to happen. I believe in having my own personal money that I have worked hard for. So when I'm spending it, I have no qualms about spending that money because it's money that I worked hard for. It's mine. The joint account can be used for household expenses such as bills. People do that and it works for them. But even then, I'm asking, assuming your household bills come to 10 grand a month, who pays what? And when? And what happens when one party defaults on that? What happens? That's what I'm trying to understand here. And when you split up, what happens? Not all marriages that were set out for happy, for worse, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, forever after end up like that. So what happens when it doesn't? I've seen marriages where men tell their spouses to stay at home. They would work hard and look after them. They needn't worry about anything and all of that. And 40 years later, the men just come back one day and say, I've met somebody else. I don't feel the same way. When you've met somebody in your 20s and you spent the last 35, 40 years with them, for them to come back home one day and say that to you as a woman, where are you going? Tell me. Where do you even begin to pick the pieces of your life from? Where? joint account. I don't know whether you guys have watched Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Yeah, I don't agree with joint accounts either. I don't, but that's my personal prerogative. You're entitled to your opinion. Joint accounts for bills, each person should have a personal account. I think emergency account for both of you is quite good and better than a joint account. All that should be communicated between the two parties. Like when people are claiming to be dating, I wonder why and what it is that people talk about. Do you always just talk about the sex that you're having? I'm really curious to really understand what people talk about when you're dating, like when you're in a relationship with somebody. What do you talk about? Because if this is somebody that you're thinking that you know well enough now and you want to be with, these are some of the issues that you ought to talk about. Because some of these things are life transformational. Marriage relationships can make or unmake you. I don't see why people cannot understand this basic thing. And so if you're going into it, it's serious business. It's make or break here. Right? Don't do things that make you put your knickers are in a twist and now you're caught between a rock and a hard place and there is just seems to be no way of escape out of that. That is all I am saying, right? And as a person that is exposed to legalities and like all of that stuff around me, my tentacles are like poop. Nothing should be a surprise, right? And trouble can be seen if we like it or not. Sometimes I think that the red flags are there. We see them and we just gloss over them. Oh, it would improve. Oh, things will get better. But they never do. They just get worse. If you're in a relationship with somebody and the whole relationship is all centered around money, you better start having some serious conversations with yourself. A lot of us think that there's something wrong with being by yourself. Like if you're by yourself, you're going to somehow die. So you much rather tie yourself to something that you can see it's like this, that it's no good for you, but you still go ahead. Right? Relationships and discussions and conversations should have no limits. You should be able to talk about anything. And as soon as there's certain things that are no-go areas, for me, that just means that that relationship is set up for failure. How many children are you going to have? Where are you going to live? What is even your moral ethic? What is the thing that you think about? What kind of life do you want to have? These are all conversations that ought to be had. But if you make it all about he took me out and we went to this hotel and we went here and we went on holiday and we had lots of great sex and steamy sex and come back home and think that that is what your life is going to be about, you get into this long-term committed relationship with somebody and things fall apart very quickly. Foundations were wrong from the get-go because you didn't take the time to get to know this person. Like, it is not about the feelings and the emotions and all of that. That has its place. But practically, realistically, this is somebody that I'm choosing to be with. Is this going to work or isn't it? How much sex can you have? How much? 24 hours in a day. If you got to work, if you're like me and you're working half of your day every single day, how much time is there for anything else? And so if you're not making sure that this is it before you commit to it, then what are you doing? The heart of man is desperately wicked. That is what the Bible says. I didn't say that. The Bible said that. And there is no art to tell the mind's construction in the face. No art at all. The fact that I'm smiling to you like this does not mean that you know what's going on in my head, right? So, oh, he's so handsome, he's so innocent looking, and he couldn't possibly do that. Do you know what's going on in his mind? Do you? Any man who pokes his nose into a woman's money is not worth your time to spend your life with. It goes the other way too, darling. It goes the other way too, as far as I am concerned. What is good for the goose is good for the gander too. As a very independent woman with a big mouth, I don't want to be in anybody's claws, for anybody to think that they now have the right to tell me when to sit, stand, eat, sleep, poop, pee. Like, I want to be free. I'm a very free spirited person. I don't like anything that makes me feel claustrophobic or like I'm pinned down to a particular place and this is it. If you don't understand that about me, you can't live with me. I don't like that. I don't like to feel constricted, and I don't like that. That is me. So because of that, right? I ought to have the right to decide what I want to do with my own money that I've worked hard for. Yes, have somebody in your life, love them, have your time. It suits you, it suits me, fine. But when it comes to money that I have worked hard for, I think I have the right to decide how I spend and disperse of that money, not somebody else. I'm sorry, but that doesn't work for me. The world has lost its real meaning of union and real relationship. The idea of family, husband, wife, and children has been destroyed. Fair. But when both parties understand that this is a union between two adults, that to me, marriage has nothing to do with a man watching and looking after a woman and providing her every need. To me, that is not marriage. If I have a son that I've borrowed monies, done everything for, to make him into a responsible adult and a professional that is independent and standing on his own 2 feet, I expect that that son of mine will be with a woman who is equally independent and has her own means of survival too. That takes bitterness and the pressure of somebody feeling like their meal ticket or an automated teller machine for the other party. I don't advocate. I can't do it. And I never will be a stay-at-home mom whose job it is to make the home. What do you mean? Cook, clean the house, lay the bed, get the groceries done, make sure, do all the admin and paperwork, make sure bills are paid, and he just goes out there and has fun and brings money home. No. The home that I was raised in and the model that works for me is one where we all do everything, bits of everything. Yeah. Why should I be the one that cleans the house and lays the bed and does the laundry and mop the floor and clean the kitchen and do everything? What is your job? What do you do? Shovel the snow and clean the car and everything, and you just get up and sit in the car and go make money? No. The house that I grew up in, yes, maybe 6 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, my mom would cook. But my dad cooked too. In fact, in my older life, my dad has cooked for me a lot more than my mom does, even at my age. Yes, and I have no shame about talking about these things. My dad comes to visit me today. He would want to, oh, let me just make you a salad. Oh, I've made this soup. Would you like? Yes, he does. That is the sort of home that I was raised in. I did not see this is your job, woman. You clean the house. You make sure the house is clean. No. The man that gave birth to me is a very independent man. Very independent. Washes his own clothes, cleans his own car, his own knickers, underwear, everything. Like, what else? And so if I'm going to be married to somebody who is going to be the breadwinner and me the home cleaner, it doesn't work for me. That's just me. Right? You do you, but that formula doesn't work for me. Your generation and thinking process in this particular show shows the effects of mental slavery. The white community does not hold the blueprint as to what should and shouldn't be respect to life. I'm perplexed as to who sees we Black people you're referring to. You know, like wife material need not own bank account, must use or gas account. Says who? Huh? Says who? Like why? I have an account of my own. He has an account of his own. So at the end of the month, if bills have to be, we all know how much everything is because we talk about everything. Oh, the rent or the mortgage is at $2,000 paid. Oh, the utilities came to $600 paid. We all know how much food costs. The supermarket is out there. We all go to it, right? I still don't, nobody has been able to convince me as to why anybody ought to have a joint account and then, put your life and everything that you own into that account. Having a joint account doesn't mean you should put all your income into that. Like, guys, honestly speaking, for me personally, and this is my personal prerogative, to me, I think that everybody ought to have control over their own money that they've worked hard for, right? If you're in a marriage with somebody and you're living together, you live in that, whatever it is, house together. Both of you ought to know what it costs for you to live together and what people's commitments and responsibilities towards making sure that that house is always a home that you guys can always come back to. I don't think that responsibility falls on any single one person. Right? Blessed be your belief. Please give me 2 reasons why you need a joint account. Right? It's just I hey Eben, where have you been? It's been ages. Right? It's joint accounts are working for a lot of people, and people with joint accounts have broken up and not had issues. If you're in a marriage for the money, then I can guarantee you this is how it will end. Simple. But must you have a joint account? Is it the end all and be all? Does that mean that if you're in a marriage and you don't have a joint account, that you can't have a happy marriage? That's what I want. That's what I want you guys to answer for me this morning. If I'm going to get married now, must I have a joint account in order for my marriage to have a chance of success? Because I was raised in a home where there was never any joint account, just two people who loved each other and committed to each other. And they've been doing that for 45 years without a joint account, and they're still together into their 70s. So is the joint account the end all and be all of a relationship? And under what circumstances do you prescribe that anybody has that in their marriage? Both parties would agree on anything, darling, from the get-go. But it doesn't mean that what you agree with in the beginning is how it ends up being. People change, you know. People change. And as I keep on saying, and I've repeated a few times today, I have seen the best and worst of people because of certain places that I've had the opportunity of having the eyes to actually look into people's personal lives. And it is not funny. People have worked their asses off. Oh, we don't have my money and his money. We have our money. Then when the shit has hit the fan, somebody had an idea and was 10 steps ahead of the game the whole time. And the other person was just, just walk all over me. Just do whatever the hell you want to do to me. And I've been bitten so hard, it's not even funny. In a lot of cases, one person is always the one that has advocated for one. And then the other person feels, oh, yeah, why not? Let's just do that. And your eyes are all in the clouds, and I'm caught up in this love and how he makes me feel. And then that is that. Why should money be an issue? I guess I'm yet to meet one who is going to run away with mine. But I seriously still think that the conversations about money ought to be had from the get-go, so everybody knows where they stand in this, right? Hello, Anthea, darling. I'll see you tomorrow, sweetie. Right? It's not the importance of having a joint account or not. The important thing about finances, the importance of finances should be a topic of discussion before joining finances or before joining a union. The joint account is a place to combine finances and defined by how the couple wants to. They can have separate accounts, but because they're married, they have access to it. I don't know. I don't know. You can only do these things, as some of you have said, as long as both parties are disciplined and committed enough for each party to do the end of the bargain. But where is the guarantee? And that is the problem for me. I have seen men swear by anything that they will love this woman, forsaking all others, blah, blah, blah. The marriage doesn't work out. Fine, fair dues. But then there are children involved from that marriage. And I shouldn't say I don't care, but my beef is not with the fact that the marriage ended. My beef is with the fact that marriage has ended, but there are products that have come out of the marriage. And a lot of men just wash their hands and feet and fingers and everything off of everything because they say they don't want the wife anymore and they've left. I have seen it close up. I have seen useless men who have left marriages and been divorced for 3 years, 5 years, and not sent a kobo for the upkeep of their children. As if the moms were the only ones who made the kids. right? The issue of money is just one that we ought to take this whole, oh, it's so uncomfortable. I don't want him or her to think that the relationship is all about money. It's important that you have that conversation and you know what your other half's attitude towards money is from the get go. It's very important that you also equally understand what your attitude towards money is. I have seen people who have trusted their other half so much. They give their PIN number, bank card, whatever to their spouse. Oh, I'm just going home, but you have this, and this is my PIN number. And if I need money, I can just call you and you can just take some money out and send it to me. And I've seen people have rude surprises when they've come back and their accounts have been wiped with nothing left in it. Because now the husband or the wife knows, wow, so he has all this money in his personal account. Whew. And I'm married to him or her, and I didn't know that he had all of this money. Oh, I think I can put my hands on some of that. Yeah. After all, he's my wife, right? He's the husband. It doesn't matter. We're married. Is that stealing or not? Yeah. Guys, I believe you should divide your shared expenses. The higher earner pays more and vice versa. It doesn't need to be joint if one is uncomfortable with it. The issues that have come out of joint accounts are endless. And unless you can swear with your life that the person that you're entering into this joint account business with is one that will stick to to the plan forever and a day, and that this person is trustworthy and honest enough to not touch something that does not belong to him, that he hasn't worked or she hasn't worked hard for. I still think it's murky waters. And we can agree to disagree here, but that is personal observation. I've seen the best and worst in people, guys, of different shapes, colors, and everything. I don't think it has anything to do with race, color, or anything like that, and everything to just do with just how human beings are, plain and simple. Hello, sweetie. How are you? I'm good, Han. Just very angry this morning. That's all. So do you. But whatever you do, my only advice to you, man, woman, is to always have safeguards and safety nets in place. Don't just think that because you're married to somebody, you have to give your whole life to that person. Like a train and a road. Oh, just go right over me. It doesn't matter because I'm with you. Stupid. It really, really is. I've seen people sell their homes and everything that they had. They were doing so well on their own. Then they meet this fella or this woman. He lives in another country. Oh, I'm selling up. I'm moving out. The man or woman sees that you're well to do. Oh, let's start this business. And you're the business financier with the money that you got from the house that you worked hard for to buy, that you paid mortgage for 30 years. And everything has gone down the drain. Seen people lose $250,000 worth of assets that they had in a house in the name of love. I've learned lessons the hard way out of being empathetic and kind in relationships. And so I say this with heavy heart. When I tell you I'm mad, that is why. But some lessons that you learn when you've been deeply bitten, you don't repeat. You don't. So do you, Do whatever works best in your house. I'm not here to prescribe any particular formula to you. All I'm saying is that have safety nets in place and make sure that in everything that you're doing, if things go south, you will still land on your feet. Yeah, you will not sleep outside on the street penniless with nothing, because that is the worst thing that could ever happen to you in this lifetime. Take it from somebody who has seen and is seeing the worst in people on a daily basis. It doesn't have anything to do with, I know him, or we've been together 30 years. It has nothing to do with that. And never forget this. If you haven't heard anything I've said to you today, there is no art to tell the mind's construction in the face. No art whatsoever. A word to the wise is enough. Safeguard yourself, your money. God gave you a heart of your own to pump blood into your body for a reason. If God felt that you had to do everything with a particular person, I think that He would have made us conjoined twins. We would all come with our partners joined in the hip with us. But the fact that you have your own heart, if you have boobs, you've got two boobs that are yours, that are serving you and your body alone. Two kidneys for you, your body alone, means that there are just certain things in this life better for you. You know, it's just, guys, when things go south, because things do go south or can go south, the world does not revolve around you, right? The typical Nigerian in me won't allow me to be so loved up in the point of owning a joint account with my husband. Nancy, I just love you, darling. My husband is a good man, but people change. I won't also demand from him that we have a joint account. In this life, it's better to just be safe than sorry. Nancy, God bless you. Joyce, God bless you. I have to listen to Miles Monroe's Singleness. I will. I will, darling. I promise you. I'd find out if it's a book or whatever, and I'll listen to it. Marriage can be nice and wonderful if both parties can be respectfully trustworthy, compassionate. I love you, Doris. I love the fact that you have so much faith in people. You have a good man. Good luck to you. But guys, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Don't leave yourself that vulnerable. That's all I can say. I don't think it makes. I have been through hell and back to leave myself that vulnerable for anybody. Signing a prenup. She is so optimistic, isn't she, darling? I love her so much. She has so much faith in people. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, I've become very cynical. I just don't have no more faith in no people. I love you. I do. But it doesn't mean that I have to tie my soul, my heart, my lungs, my kidney, my boobs to you because you have you sometimes have the privilege of going into my holy of holies. Sorry, but no. Yeah, I just learn from experiences, and I've had my own fair share of them, and they've not had happy ending. So, like I said, do what works for you. But for me personally, from what I've seen and been through myself and seen people around me go through, and then be in a role on a daily basis of seeing the worst in people, no. No. The same husband that you purport to love would take your credentials and impersonate you and do things in your name that could end you up in jail. Now, that is serious business. These are people who said forever and a day. These are people who own 10 houses. Yeah. But when things go south, they forget all about that and take you to their cleaners and some. People have lost lives because of this. So me, I'm not ready to die for any man. I am not dying before my time, not because of a man or a relationship. So you know what? Keep your money. I'll keep mine. And when the time comes, the bills ought to be paid. They don't have to be paid from a joint account that all of my money has gone into. No. I want to be able to spend my money without having to give account about how I choose to spend it. Right? At the end of the month, if I have to send money to my parents who have killed themselves, literally, for me, I don't have to want to be accountable to tell somebody that I have to do this and give no explanation. It's my bloody money. I'm just being real based on my life and what I have seen. You do you and what works for you. And Sister Doris, I applaud you so much. But from what I have seen in my own personal experience, it's nothing I'll ever do. Go into marriage looking at it for what it is. It's a business arrangement in which signed contracts by both parties with respect to any financial transactions, because it's a must. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And that contract is binding as long as both parties continue to do what they're supposed to do. But 9 times out of 10, some people stop stepping out of line. And that is when the issues start. Jesus already did the orders of dying for humans. Why would I want to die for any man? Well, but if you don't, you would. Contracts are always broken. People sign on the dotted line. We're going to build asphalt road, and they end up putting stones with nothing on it. No bitumen, nothing, no binding, nothing. 2 weeks later, there are potholes. Oh, it's because it rained too much. So now we have to build the roads again. Guys, I've got to go. I love you guys so much. But the word to the wise is enough. And yeah, yeah, there are just certain things in this life that are just too risky for me. Yeah. Communicate. Yeah. Yeah. And when they're dealt with legally, honey, you end up throwing away thousands of dollars trying to fight a point that could go either way sometimes, depending on where you are. I know for a fact that in Ghana or in Africa in general, we have all the rules, but it's the roll of a dice as to which judge is in charge and what their personal thinking is as to what justice is. Look, let me just leave this here. Don't want to say anything more than what I've already said. I love you guys so much. I want to see people succeed and thrive, both men and women. I'm an advocate for both. I'm a woman. I've got sisters. I've got a mom, but I also have a dad and I have nephews too. I don't have no brother. I have nephews. I have cousins. And I don't want to see any of them, be them men or women, taken advantage of. So just protect yourself. That's all I'm saying. Protect yourself. I shouldn't give up and trust in the Lord. And I love the Lord so much, darling. But I'm just very pragmatic. very pragmatic. If you've lived my life, maybe you would understand, Sister Doris. But where I'm at right now, I've got my tentacles on big time because I've just seen the West in people. Love means nothing when people are bullshitting you. Means nothing. They lose all sense of every promise that they made to you when they're taking you down to the cleaners because they think they're sensible. And that's what sensible people should do. I love you guys. Let's just leave it here. But just make sure that marriages, relationships, whatever you're into, you have the safeguard and you're always protected and never leave yourself vulnerable. Don't leave anything to chance. Don't leave anything to, oh, he can't possibly do that to me. Because he can. And they do. What's love got to do with it exactly? When I'm sitting here in the next 5 minutes having to go off to work, it's me doing the work, not him, me. And yes, I love him, but I'm doing the work though. I'm doing the work, not him. If he's working for himself too. But I'm doing the work. I'm sat on my ass working. He's not. He can love me all he wants, but I have to do the work. Yeah. Our past experiences determines our perspective on this issue. Exactly. And if you've been bitten and you've seen it and you've seen the best and worst of people, you just safeguard yourself, plain and simple. There is no art to tell the mind's construction in the face. That's all I'm saying. I love you guys so much. Have a fantastic Saturday and God bless you. And yes, Mandy and I are back tomorrow. You guys know when we're here. Yeah, crazy things happen. Mandy is crazy, I'm crazy, and it's just recipe for disaster. So I hope you guys at 6 p.m. Ghana time, 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. if you're in the West, or is it 3 p.m.? 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast of America, or if you're in the East Coast of Canada, and it's 12 noon if you live here in Alberta in Calgary. Okay, I love you guys and see you guys tomorrow. Have a lovely time. Take care. God bless you. And always make sure that you keep yourself safe and leave no chance for vulnerabilities, especially with your finances. I love you. Mwah.